Welcome back. The Ogun State Police Command has denied the alleged invasion of Jabata Forest Reserve by so-called killer herdsmen in the Iwoye-Ketu area. The command's response follows viral reports that herdsmen had occupied the area with the intent of kidnapping and carrying out criminal activities.
The statue of the first Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò, the Generalissimo of Yoruba land to the Old Oyo Empire, welcomes you to Iwoye-Ketu, an agrarian community in Imekwafon local government area of Ogun State, southwest Nigeria. Besides farming, herdsmen from neighboring countries also graze the forest, and this has been on for over 2 decades. Until recently, the relationship between the two has been cordial. Residents allege that the herdsmen are now leading their cattle into farmlands.
Majorly, our people are farmers, and the number of cattle continue to increase on daily basis these days, and it is telling on even the land available for farming.
Our imagination still remain that they imported somebody to come and fight us, even to come and send us out of our own land because of their own cattle.
But both the traditional ruler of the community and the Ogun State Police Command debunk claims of forceful invasion by the herdsmen.
Not really. They are trying to occupy the forest, but with the effort of Kabis chiefs and the whole community, we didn't give any lapses.
We've not had any issue of security breakdown in that area. So I don't know where those people, where they discover their own killer herdsmen that have taken over certain forest in that place. So our people should desist from coming up with unsubstantiated news.
Meanwhile, a series of peace meetings are being held to ensure a peaceful coexistence between the local herders and the host community.
For some women, being a widow does not end with the heartache that comes with losing a husband, but the right of inheritance as well. The loss is usually devastating. In some parts of the country, widows are denied not only inheritance rights, but evicted from their homes or even forced into unwanted marriages. In this next report, our correspondent, Victoria Ido, examines the plight of some widows and how to address their condition.
The death of a husband usually causes a lot of hardship for family members left behind. The wife, the children are the ones they bear the brunt because the man is usually the breadwinner of the family. The story you're about to hear today is a story of some women who have suffered greatly after the death of their husband. As you look into her eyes, you will see the grief and the pain. As the tears run down and the inner wailing busts out, you can tell she's going through a lot of pain in her life right now. Her name is Maria Christian, and she's a widow. Maria got married at the age of 26. That marriage lasted for about 3 years. This is an old picture of her husband. He was the breadwinner, working every day as a clearing agent at the Apapa port.
He's a very nice man.
1 year after their daughter Chiamaka was born, he died, leaving Maria to fend for herself and their little daughter.
You know, we Igbo, they will ask you to put sand in the grave. I swear that we never get married. I will take care of this girl. That is my own. That is why I'm suffering with Amaka.
It's over 18 years since Maria's husband died, but the heartbreak she feels is still fresh. It's fueled by the fact that he made no plans for their future.
He did not put me and my daughter in next of kin. When I went to bank, Union Bank, I took my daughter there. They said my name is not there. Did not put me and my daughter in next of kin.
This is where she lives with her daughter, a dingy one-room with worn-out mattresses, an old fridge, and some clothes. With streaks of tears on her face, 19-year-old Chiamaka narrates how her life has been without her father.
Life has been difficult for me and my mommy. Sometimes my mommy sent me an errand to go to some house to beg for body for me to eat. Life has been very difficult for me since when I was born in this family. I don't know my father.
Maria is one amongst many widows going through the pain of losing a loved one. This 65-year-old woman is another widow. She has been for over 32 years, having lost her husband at the age of 30. She lives in this one-room apartment all by herself.
To my own life that time, I feel it because we live together with lively, without knowing that something will happen like that early age.
When her husband died, she lost the wages he brought home as an engineer.
I can't say it all because sometimes we cook okra without anything. We cook only okra, put that pepper with red oil, Maggi, no fish, nothing. Sometimes to take them to school is too much stress for me to take them to school.
These women have survived this far by the help of well-meaning Nigerians and non-governmental organizations.
The foundation now make it mandatory that we need to support the widows. But before supporting the widows, we need to look at the challenges faced by the widows. And number one is the children. That's why we made it compulsory that all widows' children must be #1 priority of the foundation.
The possibility of living in poverty is higher when women do not have a means of fending for themselves while their husbands are alive.
What makes marriage last and sustain the marriage is a better understanding of what marriage itself is all about. It's an independent thing. You should be working, you should be independent, you should have something doing, and you must be able to support the man at home.
Another issue of concern is widows being denied properties left by their husbands in some parts of the country. Related to this is the exclusion by some husbands of their spouses or kids as next of kin in financial documents.
Sometimes, especially when you have a spouse, especially we like calling the eastern part of Nigeria, where we have the woman has so many issues with the family of the husband, and then, she would barely get anything after the death of her husband, and they don't even know that most times the woman and the man that struggle together to acquire those property, but because it's only the man's name that is there because of love, so she will not be able to get anything out of the property because her name is not expressly stated there.
As the world marks the International Widows' Day on the 23rd of June, this is a cry for help. A call for men to include their wives or kids as next of kin, a warning to women to earn a living with or without their husbands. It's also a reminder to the government to improve the plight of widows in Nigeria. Victoria Idowu, Channels Television News.
A really sad scenario indeed. Well, let's move over to Edo State, where over 300 catfish farmers running a cluster of ponds in Ekiwa, Utekoko community in Benin City, are looking forward to receiving support from the state government and other relevant bodies to improve their businesses. They tell our correspondent, Jessica Olobosere, that the lack of a ready market, good road and low-interest loan are just some of the challenges they face.
The United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, in its official State of World Fisheries and Aquaculture report in 2018, said 60 million people worldwide, 14% of them women, are directly employed in fisheries and the aquaculture sector. Specifically, the FAO's country brief on Nigeria, citing the government's report, states that from 21,700 tons in 1999, aquaculture production in the country has grown steadily to 316,700 tons in 2015. In ponds from land located in Ekua Utekoko community in Benin City, the Edo State capital, over 300 catfish farmers have found a niche for themselves. There are about 750 ponds on this farm. Jerry Omogiade is one of the over 300 farmers.
Within 5 months, we have gotten a table-sized fish. The fish we raise from egg, nurture them from fingerlings, post-fingerlings, juvenile. This is jumbo already now, and getting ready to enter the 18 ponds.
It sounds like a smooth business with all benefits and little risk. But according to the farmers, that's only when you're looking from the outside. The scale, they say, could easily tilt to loss.
Diseases, bacterial infections, even viral, even fungal infection. The water parameters, we talk about the pH, we talk about the temperature, and maybe chemicals around the soil could wash into the water too and cause harm. Equally, even farmers in the area of marketing suffer a great deal of losses because right now the problem we have is with the buyers. What we have now, market women coming to buy, and in the process they kind of gang up against the farmers. They force our prices down.
The buyers, however, seem satisfied with the deals they score here.
We don't have much in Ogara, Delta State, but here in Benin, we have much. So I came here to buy it so that I can use it to survive myself for my children.
The enterprise also keeps non-fish farmers employed, with the farmer requiring at least 2 other assistants for daily service. Then there's the smoking section, where buyers can pay for their produce to be smoked. The Fish Farmers Project is close to the state government's entrepreneurship development goals. Emmanuel Uso heads the Wealth Creation Ministry.
To help them galvanize a market where their products will be sold with commensurate value of their investment. We're also linking them with Bank of Industry and the Central Bank of Nigeria to enable them access funding as government. That process is ongoing. That access road, we are looking up to the possibility of upgrading the road by constructing an accessible road from the fish farming point to the main road where you have also a market.
Bringing these plans to a reality could see the Ute fish farmers contributing more to the FAO's estimated growth in fish production, 201 million tons by 2030. Jessica Olubuse, Channels Television News.
Africa comes out tops as the fastest growing economy. Kayode has that and other business stories.
That's right, Melinda, and you're welcome to Business News. Africa has retained its top position as the fastest growing region in the world after recording around $997.9 billion total trade in 2018. And that's according to the African Export-Import Bank's latest trade report for the continent. The report, which was released by Afrexim's chief economist, Dr. Hippolyte Fofak, at the ongoing Afrexim annual meeting in Moscow, shows Africa's output grew by 3.4% between 2017 and 2018. And this is despite the slowdown in global growth within the period. The findings highlight the resilience of African economies to global volatility amid rising uncertainty, as well as escalating trade wars and tariffs between the United States and China. Fofak explains that the European Union remained Africa's main trading partner last year with 29.8% of total trade, while China and India consolidated their positions as the continent's first and second single largest trading partners with over 21% of total trade last year. And investor sentiment of the stock market ends the third trading week of June still in negative territory after much profit taken in 4 sessions, outweighed the last-minute rebound recorded yesterday. The NS's main index finished the week with a 0.65% drop to close at 29,851.29, while overall value of listed equities fell by 0.59% to 13.155 trillion naira. Traders attribute the lackluster performance in key indicators to price losses from major components of the consumer goods sector, which dropped 1.64% despite strong gains recorded across 4 other major counters of the market. The share price of Linkage Assurance is the best performer, following its 37.50% increase. Champs is the worst performer with a 13.89% drop, while 101 equities were unchanged. Total volume of shares traded in 17,192 transactions for the week stands at 7.47 billion, worth about 91.1 billion naira, led by the shares of Wema Bank, Forte Oil, and Zenith Bank. And the promise to introduce derivatives into the Nigerian capital market now appears to be taking form as regulators and operators converged on Lagos for a day workshop on the product. The event, which was organized by the Securities and Exchange Commission, shows that Nigeria will leverage its abundant natural resources and population as underlying assets for derivatives. Well, thank you for watching Business News Tonight. I am Kayode Okikiolu. It's back to you, Melinda.
Many thanks, Kayode. Still ahead on the news at 10. Super Eagles of Nigeria squeezed past Burundi at the African Nations Cup in Egypt with Odion Igalo's 77th minute goal to earn maximum 3 points. That's on Sports News. Stay with us.